from Flandre, so we'll see what champions he's going to be able to revert back to. First pick of the litter here. We've still got a load of junglers up and available. It's going to be the Rise for Shanks that they take first of all here, so a stable source of damage into the mid lane.
See what the response is here for top esports. If they want to go point and click like a Vi Ahri or a Vi Taliyah, option is certainly available to them and certainly not a bad one. We have seen a lot of Cassiopeia into Rise, as Ulk remarked the other day he's sick and tired of seeing Cassiopeia into Rise as a counter. It just doesn't seem to work out. With this Vi lock-in, I think that lends a lot of opportunity to pick mid here, but you can wait on it because of this Rise having the first lock-in.
Yeah, if there's a different pick that you really want to take, definitely the opportunity to be able to go for that. The Nami gets locked in here, so I mean, you could go for a Jhin, you could go for a Corki, you've got plenty of options here, and a really good disengage pick also follows up quite nicely with that cease and desist as well. Taking the supports early on, Bard got banned in the second phase of picks and bans in the first match, so they're going to take this one nice and early, and I don't mind this when you see in a mobile support already, especially a squishy one at that. Does mean that you're quite likely to be able to pick out Fengyue with that tempered fate even.
Yeah, we saw Kael have such a great game on it yesterday. Got an MVP for his troubles and paired up really well with Tarzan. When he's on that Lulu, he just doesn't get the opportunity nearly as much. Like, sure, you get to buff up your jungler, but you don't actually get to set the table here. Corki going to be the takeaway, so an interesting AD carry to leave on as lonesome sometimes.
Yeah, I mean, it's not too difficult as Corki to sustain on your own, right? You just queue the backline of creeps, then they die. Maybe just a big one is fine enough as well. And with the Valkyrie as well, Hope shouldn't feel too hard done by if they look to try and get him isolated. But it's a Lucian lock-in here for JiaQi, so if he's had a rough series, a rough go of things so far, this is not the pick to be taking. Instead, he's just sort of trying to take back control of his own destiny at this stage and maybe try and find something a little bit different from this game than we've seen from top esports in this opening to Split 2.
Before we hopped on the broadcast, you and I had a short discussion about some AD carries, and you know, Lucian not really great right now. When Nami's best pairing is Corki, that's how you know that Lucian's not really in a great spot. But against a Bard Corki, I think it's certainly a much better matchup than if you were against some of these longer range champions that are causing some problems. So we'll see how this bot lane shakes out. A couple of bans coming through. They're going to take away the Cassiopeia. They don't want Creme to get his hands on that one. The Nefiri ban, because Tarzan ran rampant with that champion in Game 2 yesterday.
Nocturne taken off the board as well, so we've removed a lot of those AD junglers. Still Wukong available here for Tarzan if we're looking at those picks. Maybe a Trundle gets locked in as well. It's not a bag pick versus the Nami, but a couple of options still available to Tarzan if he so chooses. Now, other answers typically have been the Anivia, but I don't sense that as a ban toward Creme. Yeah, instead going for the Ambessa here, so opting into something a little bit different on that top side and giving the opportunity to Creme here to pick his fair share of mid.
I like the Ahri pick a little bit more than the Taliyah, although the Taliyah does give you that global presence. The Ahri gives you a little bit of room to operate in a lot of these fights. And I think with JiaQi still trying to get up to speed a little bit here, you need somebody who can, get around these fights and kind of take over a little bit easier. On the other side, though, this Poppy is going to be real good into this top esports comp.
That's a good pick. Undoubtedly, that just works. I look across the board, 3 dash champions. I see Poppy, I slam. Very good pick for Tarzan here. We'll see if that can have the impact that we know this champion can do and that we know Tarzan can as well. I mean, for top esports here, it's a win early or don't win at all type situation with this composition. They've got the hallmark of mid-game power spikes with the Lucian Nami duo, with the Vi hitting 2 items, Ahri hitting 1-2 items, and this Jace, if it gets locked in as well, same sort of thing. You hit 1 to 2 items and then you're going to be absolutely plain sailing. If it gets much further than that, gets much later, you have to imagine that the Rise, the Yorick, they're going to start to absolutely run rampant.
Yeah, AL should have a lot of split push pressure this time around. One note about Tarzan is this is going to be game 35 for him on Poppy in his career. 67.6% win rate. You typically only pick it when conditions are good, but Tarzan's Poppy in particular has been fairly impressive every time he's on the Rift.
Yeah, I mean, that's a large amount of wins, right, out of those games. And I mean, the conditions here, they're perfect. To be clear, like, you have insane conditions to take the Poppy. I think that the Keeper's Verdict might be a little bit difficult, more so than anything else, just because if you're trying to knock away a target, all of those champions have dashes, so they should be able to get out of them, or get out of the way of that skill shot. But otherwise, this game should be one for Tarzan to run on the Poppy. I think that as well, in terms of cease and desists, the Vi going to have to pair up nicely with the Ahri, and it is going to test the synergy of top esports here, because if Fengyue is not ready with that tidal wave, if JiaQi isn't ready with the culling, and Zwayon ready with that downtown shock blast, it is just going to be Tien sending himself into the fire without any flames to back him up.
We'll see if he can make it through those fires and those flames, as our bot lanes are matching, as we are on the Summoner's Rift for Game 2 of this Best of 3 series. Interested to see.
Organized them.
Yeah, they did. Interested to see where our junglers are going to set focus here, because I think if you can get the Lucian behind, it bodes very well for the team that does not have the Lucian, mostly because the mid game is where he really takes over. You have the strong lane, you're able to farm very well because you have so much room to operate, and then you take over in the mid game by just trying to, you know, get cullings off and get mid priority and work down that mid turret. If you set him behind, you can make things happen.
Already an interesting development in that top lane as well. Both of those wards had gone down. JiaQi going to look to trade here. Barriers the Phosphorus Bomb, and it's coming out on top here, but Kael with some consistent DPS back, gets an Electrocute proc as well. Remember, Nami is going to be able to ebb and flow. Tarzan lost the 1v1 for the smite. Tien does pick that one up, and now Tarzan very much homeless on this Poppy.
Yeah, a little tough, and a little tough for the top esports bot lane so far after that trade. Lots of trading going on everywhere. Creme getting the better end for now, but with Hope and Kael having this advantage, already step one is complete with trying to keep this Lucian down.
I do wonder if we get to see an early gank down toward this bot side now. Obviously, anyone's Legend are going to know that the Vi is down here, but there's no wards even available here. If you were to skip camps as Tien, try and make a little bit of a play down on this bot side, likelihood is that you'll be able to yield some pretty good fruit there, as they are going to hold the wave as well. You can see them posturing like they're going to go and ward it, but yeah, a little bit of game of chicken there. Did they ward? Did they not? Did they see Hope put his first ward down? If they did, then they should know there's no vision there. And Tien instead works his way into the mid lane.
I like this. Cream's creeping up here too. Lots of damage coming down on the Shanks. Let's see if we can get the predict off here. He dies!
Oh
what a play by Tien! And it's first blood for Creme!
Oh, and that is gorgeous. Like, that is like a book he's been read there. I mean, the timing on it wasn't really that great from Tien. He flashes first and sort of cues forward, and then Shanks just flashes straight into it. Like, it was the best of timelines for Tien there. Makes an absolute Hail Mary play and comes out with everything that he needed.
Yeah, you'll see it again on the replay. It's about the very last frame that you can get while still knocking him up.
Yeah, and actually, I didn't realize this. Creme failed his E-Flash, so he didn't even connect on the charm, which he should have done. But the auto-attack, fortunately enough, to take down Shanks. And Creme did get the first kill there, so first blood for the Ahri. Definitely feels quite nice. He's able to go back and pick up an extra one of the many components that he's taken here. Dark Seal, Boots, or Sapphire Crystal. Not sure which one he would have dropped, but fortunately doesn't have to make that choice.
And that's just a consequence of what happened with Tarzan early on. Losing out on Tien's chickens means that Tien had first move, had the tempo to go and make a play. Now we're going to fight over the second set of chickens here. Tarzan going to move all the way and doing some good damage to Tien here. Damn. That's a lot. Looks like his chickens are now forfeit.
So I'm going to struggle on this top side. Flandre traps him in the cage, but the minions fortunately prove to be just enough to warn Flandre away from this position. Tarzan does secure the second round of chickens here, as Tien already on that top side working on his Gromp. Good to see that Fengyue is just making his life a little bit more difficult though, like just stalling out the Poppy more so than anything, and may even get to see Tien try and utilize that stall as he gets a recall in and makes his way back out onto the map that little bit faster. Gonna have a tunneler in owing to the assist that he got from that first blood as well.
All down in CS, Creme has certainly taken it to Shanks here. Both sides will get a recall off after a big chunk, and Lane will head it back to the middle here to an even state. Zoyan gonna get his recall off as Flandre did teleport. Now we're just waiting to see Creme hit level 6 and try to go make some plays, as Tien will continue farming up to try to hit 6 himself.
Might be able to do it successfully. We'll have to wait and see. But as we look at this game though, Yanni, again, want to highlight that as much as our ideas of the scaling from game number 1 just barely came home to roost, as the big Seraphine Encore did make it work. Similarly for this game, one team is largely on the clock here, and the difference this time around though is that it's top esports. They've got a very real window where they need to be ahead. 1k gold lead to begin with is nice and easy.
Big double bubble there. Meanwhile, we're still fighting here. Tien is down a level. Flandre's going to be the first one to move. This is trouble as Tien is caught up and cannot escape. Although Tarzan gets traded out here. Nice play there by Creme. Should be able to escape without too many troubles here. We'll get rooted up one more time. A 1-for-1 in the end.
And both junglers going to fall there. Tien feeling the ramifications of not getting his second spawn of chickens there, as Tarzan level 5 well into it before that play started, and Tien actually just level 4. Did ding level 5 from the fight, but meant he was much more squishy and the much easier focus there. Still finds himself up in gold, as do everybody on top esports. Zoyan with a 200 gold lead on this top side, coming from a little bit of plating gold, more so than anything. Now going to be a lot more tricky to try and push this Yorick under the turret, as he can quite easily clear out the majority of these creeps and get himself back to a brush to stay safe.
You know, that's alright if he's not able to go and take out Flandre, right, and get solo kills like he was able to in the last game. As long as he can get some shock blasts in some of these fights, soften up this AL squad for Creme and JiaQi love to be able to do the rest. Creme is already in a solid position here in this game with Dragon up. Tarzan gonna head down here, look to clear out this ward at the back of the pit. We have Grubs in 40 seconds as well. We'll see if Top Esports wants to have a trade of objectives like they did in game 1.
I mean, I think that they can... The idea that they can give up the Grubs isn't a bad one if they start stacking these Drakes nice and early, again with the composition that kind of needs to thrive through the first 10 to 15 minutes. I wouldn't be against them sort of trying to neutral objective Kingdom here, try and take both of them. We've already seen some really good trades from JiaQi and Fengyue, which regardless of the outcome of this series, I think is a really good look. Their laning phases in the first series up against Weibo, definitely not Weibo, sorry, up against their opponents yesterday, definitely not quite the take that we were looking for.
A bubble on Corki. This could be bad. He'll flash away from the tidal wave, but guess what? Turnabout is fair play. Tarzan knocking JiaQi Love over to the side. Here comes the Realm Warp, and JiaQi Love is caught on an island. We'll just try to clear out as much minions as he can, and he will fall to hope.
We're going to be able to secure a plating in the mid lane, the teleport from Shanks as well. There's these 3 Grubs on the top side, so it doesn't come for nothing. JiaQi Love obviously going to fall, but more than happy to take that trade if they are, Creme Tien here finding something.
Just good damage from Zoyan. Here comes the rest of the squad. Creme is going to ult over the wall. And will chase down Flandre. No vision. Shouldn't be too much of a problem. Charm is there. Good flash from Flandre. See if Creme's able to pick up the rest. He doesn't have mana. Zoyan's caught in the cage. Here comes Tien. It takes the might of 3, but they get it done.
Yeah, I think it was always going to take 3 people there, and well played to Flandre for holding it out of the turret. The fact that it took so long, though, does mean that Shanks is able to get his own response plate in the mid lane. So I think they'll be quite happy with that trade now as anyone's legend. Yes, again, Flandre the one who falls, but Kael searching for his way on, not going to find him here. Really wise that he's able to back out all the way back to his turret.
Could have been trouble, a little bit of wasted time as Flandre's going to TP back up to the top side, but Zweon should be able to do so as well. In terms of the grubs, those things are still standing, so might see AL elect to contest there with Top Esports nursing about 1,000 gold lead, most of it on Zweon for the moment, as he's continued to have a solid series so far. Conditions, you know, favorable for him as they elected to play toward him on that top side this time.
Yeah, I mean, he's had counterpick in both games, so you would expect there to be a element here of him having the advantage, but much like game number 1, it's going to be about how well can he look to leverage this and sort of push the envelope of this game, because it's much more important in this game that they do that than it was in game number 1. They were always going to have that late game reliability in those team fights, and despite the disadvantage that they found themselves in, I do think they found that out in the best way possible by just absolutely acing a team fight and coming home with a win. On the flip side, though, you can see Shanks and Hope nursing gold leads themselves. Respectively, it's like 50 each way, so there's nothing really to write home about. But you'd really want JiaQi, Love, and Creme to be these ones who are fed, who are the people that can do the damage and can carry the team forward. Because they're your playmakers here in this game. They're the DPS threats. They're the ones who need to sort of stay consistently ahead.
I think that all things considered, given that 4-man play was made on the bot side, things are okay. Going to make a play up on the top side with the cease and desist. Flandre, though, doesn't take a whole lot of damage because of the steel caps, but they can run this man down. Remember, he has no flash. Zweon gets the kill, but again, they're going to go after the bot lane here. Turret's going to kill Tarzan, so it ends up being a 1-for-1 trade for the moment. The kill goes over to Fengyue.
Good sidestep there from Hope. As Fengyue with this red buff looking to be the battle Nami that everybody fears in their solo queue. But it is going to be the final grub picked up by TN on this top side, and once again it is a play toward this top side for Top Esports, but Shanks no spotted.
Oh, he is in big, big trouble. Tried to clear out that ward, but TN is everywhere right now.
Nicely done here, TN once again. 5 out of 6 kill participation in his favour. The only one that he wasn't a part of was when the dive died down on that bot side, so everything that Top Esports are doing is coming from this jungler. I mean, Tarzan, you know, coming into the end of split number 1, we were talking about being one of our best junglers, maybe not even just domestically. TN here, game number 1 had a 20 CS lead and was doing very well on the Jarvan. Game number 2, no CS lead, but much more impact.
Yeah, things are very, very good there. Fengyue had to burn heal. He'll flash over the wall to escape, so no summoners there, but he will retain rights to his life.
90 seconds on that dragon. He can help with the clearing and setting and laying down a vision toward that dragon. We'll see whether or not it's something that Top Esports look for. Again, would like to think that they need to find as many of the neutral objectives as possible. Would not like to see them concede a second dragon in quick succession.
Oh, this is bad news. Big damage onto Creme after that stun as well. He's forced to flash away. Tarzan, though, in the 2v1 got hit by the tidal wave. A Bard ultimate keeps Tarzan golden for the moment, but TN will get the kill. Kael flashed over the wall. CC desist going to Hope, but here comes the culling from downtown, starting to deal a lot of damage. TN will flash over the wall.
TN!
Maybe looking to follow, but he's not going to be able to, but TN gets the job done himself. Creme re-enters the fight, and Top Esports are running over AL. Creme just trying to keep Shanks in the area. TN and the rest of the squad will not look for more. Well played by Top Esports, 4,000 gold lead. They're going to get the crab on the bottom side too and recall for this dragon.
Yeah, well played by Top Esports, well played by TN, man. This guy is absolutely turning up in this second game. Knows that his mid lane is being collapsed on and finds the window to catch Tarzan out, who's clearly just shopping or looking down on that bot side. Doesn't use his W there to interrupt the Vault Breaker. And instead of backing away knowing that he's getting collapsed on, just says, actually, I've got the damage to do this. What are you going to do? Flashes on top of Hope as well. takes the 1v1 with the marksman, and then he's even able to sort of push that game, push this pace of it even further here. It's Fengyue fishing with these bubbles, constantly looking to be a menace as well. Esports need to look toward this dragon down on that bot side, but for the time being looking to protect JiaQi as he does take the first turret here on that top lane.
They're playing for the young man upstairs. Certainly making the most of it for now. Again, we'll see what his impact is in these fights. It's going to be a much different role than he had in the last game. In top esports, again, looking good. Even their composition is not firing on all cylinders. We're still really waiting for JiaQi to get off the ground and do Lucian Nami things here in the mid game, but for the moment he's able to keep control of that mid wave. Kael going to put a portal out here for Tarzan as they're going to look for JiaQi. JiaQi desperately trying to escape. He gets slowed up, and the numbers game is just too much for him to handle. He will fall. It's just a matter of time. He will flash away, desperately trying to get to his jungler. There's the Bard ultimate that's going to lock him up for the moment. JiaQi's still alive, but it's Kael the one getting access to that kill. Cease and desist. Tarzan can't get to the portal. They turn it around. Really good job there by top esports to even it up.
It's a 1-for-1 here, but I do still think that that favors anyone's legend. That's a big shutdown onto JiaQi as well. So I think that they'll still be happy to take that anyone's legend. They does come at a cost. They did go onto Bard, you're right, yeah. So it's a big cost that they committed to that. They spent a lot of time going for it, but looking at the waves, they pushed in a wave down on the bot side, so they didn't lose anything down there, and they've even sent Shanks to actually catch the rest of it and push another one under the turret. So they're not losing out on anything in that instance. Obviously, the Rift Herald going down is going to be a pretty big boost for top esports in the way that they can push the pace of the game. You'd like to think they'll try and break open the mid-tier 1 turret. JiaQi comes back out onto the map. Lucidity boots picked up, not quite with that Mura mana, and now second dragon started by anyone's legend, and I think it's going to be forfeited. Creme with no TP, walking out to that top side, doesn't bode too well for the contest.
Yeah, Empowered Recall was there for TN, but he is level 10, just elected to go get level 11 for himself. A full level up on Tarzan, 4-1 and 5, no surprise really. Like we said earlier, he has been everywhere. His impact on this game and so far on top esports in this series has been excellent. And we'll see if he can keep it up. We'll see where this Rift Herald gets dropped as well. Do we want to shovel more gold into JiaQi, who's gone Stormrazor first? I haven't seen this build yet.
I love Stormrazor as an item. I think it's heavily slept on. But I didn't know that it was a Lucian first pick here, not the ones that I would have typically gone for. He's going for the Essence Reaver second, which makes sense. And honestly, you get your Flicker Blades in on 3. I think this item is, or this build is going to do a lot of damage. So not against it, to be honest. I'm never against a Stormrazor. Has crit, has AD, like has move speed as well. This is a really chill item. And I think that if you're going for the sort of skeet shooter Lucian build where you build a Navori and just E every second, you're going to be feeling pretty good about this one with the movement speed from the Stormrazor to synergize with that as well.
I am worried that he's actually not going to have enough damage against Flandre, Tarzan, and Shanks. I always feel like as Lucian, if you're not able to get to your Infinity Edge on 3, it's something that's, you know, you're lacking, right? Because then you either have to determine if you're going for penetration on 4 or for full damage on IE on 4.
Yeah. That's almost the burden that the majority of marksmen are having to bear at this stage as well. But I think that for JiaQi and for Lucian in particular, one that he's going to have to toe a very fine line with this. And I think it will largely depend on how much gold he goes back to base with. If he can get the BF sword toward Infinity Edge, then he probably takes it. If he can't and has to go Zeal item, then maybe that's the case as well. Channeling his recall right now, likely to get another component or to finish this in Essence Reaver first off. But Baron spawning in 90 seconds here. Top esports find themselves in a very good position here. 4,700 gold to the good. No neutral objectives that have gone, that they are stacking in their favour though is the main thing. That dragon not being there for them is a real sore spot.
Yeah, but if top esports can break this dragon stacking in 2.5 minutes, I think they're going to be A-okay moving forward. And the stretcher out still in the back pocket. TN is going to get tagged up here. Multiple members here. Tarzan's not going to let him go as they're going to shove him up against the wall. Big damage coming through. As we are teleporting to the top side with our Jace, we are desperately trying to escape if we're top esports. That realm warp is coming through as well, and they are running over. Hold on, wait a minute. We actually managed to find a way out for right now. Oh my goodness, JiaQi love.
Yeah, I mean, that was a good start for anyone's legend, and then they just, again, almost the shades of what we thought was the problem with top esports. They weren't coordinated. Two people went through the realm warp, which split their own engage and made it a little bit easy for top esports to try and turn something back. Now TN here, just a little bit too far forward. Feeling like he's got the support of his team, but as soon as Kael rounds that corner, finds a stun into the wall, Tarzan's able to layer that up quite nicely, and really good interrupt from the Fault Breaker. And from here, this should be AL walking out 4-0, or at the very least not losing anybody. But JiaQi was able to do a good amount of return damage with the culling. Only 2 of them make it into the Realm Warp there. I think if Hope gets in, it's a completely different fight. Probably ends up wiping them all. And then really good return damage from JiaQi onto Shanks. Dashes forward, knows that he can get that. Flashes out to safety as well.
Yeah, my bad. I said he didn't have any damage, and I was wrong. Maybe I should be building Stormrazor.
Stormrazor has a BF sword. Ergo, it has damage. That's my rule.
You know what? You are onto something here. So I'm not gonna doubt you. Maybe I'm the problem. That's why I'm hard stuck Emerald even in season 16. 30 seconds until this dragon is up. TN does have his flash available. In fact, a lot of tools available for the side of top esports. Zweon had to head to the bottom side without TP.
Particularly missing are those bot lane summoner spells. Flash is still available on Creme, TN, and Zweon. Again, this Jace we haven't seen too much from in the team fights just yet, but has bolstered quite a good lead so far. Kael, good interrupt on the Rift Herald, but they're not going to have a Tempered Fate for any engages coming through in the bot side. I think they're going to be conceding this dragon. You can see them posturing slightly up towards that top side as well. Flandre's going to get this turret back himself, but top esports looking for kills.
Uh-oh, Shanks is very dead. Gonna have a channel of Tarzan's ultimate, but he got charmed. Now he's quite low. Zweon on the backside here, dropping the hammer down, and Tarzan dies. It's a double kill for JiaQi love. Here's that teleport. He's coming in the middle of everybody, immediately having to flash out from the bubble. Top esports are gonna take mid-tier 2, and they're heading toward the Baron.
30 seconds left on Tarzan. They should take this without any contest. Top esports here coming in firmly the underdogs. Questions of their synergy, questions about how well they'd be able to mesh together after getting 0-2'd just yesterday up against Invictus Gaming. Have been absolutely righted here. Shanks gets caught by the Vault Breaker, caught by the Cease and Desist, and he cannot move. A bubble after the fact as well. And look at the damage from JiaQi coming down. Full channel of the culling into Hope. He almost falls. And Zweon flashes in. Yes, Tarzan sacrifices himself here to keep the Corki alive, which does net them a dragon. Puts them up to soul point here, Yanni. So they're not without any way back into this game. But for anyone's legends, it's a struggle.
Yeah, top esports do need to play very carefully the rest of this game. 5 minutes is what AL will be waiting for. If they can minimize their losses, they can farm up some of these minions and not get caught, they can maybe find a way to go take that soul, inject some power back into their composition. We know that some of these souls can turn games. Top esports, the siege is on here in the middle.
Yeah. Flandre has no TP, so he's committing to this. And it's always difficult to try and siege up against enemy champions, especially up against Corki. With these rockets, that poke can start to hurt. They've taken 2 turrets out of the base. Now it's about, can they crack the base open? Flandre finds a tier 2.
Zweon taking a lot of damage. Fengyue is here to be able to heal him up if they want. But it looks like he's going to recall and try to meet Flandre. During this time, Flandre will take a recall himself. So we're getting some good damage on these turrets, and we're in fact going to break mid-inhibitor turret. We have a TP coming in from Zweon. It looks like they want a heads up here and just try to maybe end this game or take a big fight here. So that Temper Fate, it's not going to land on anybody. Creme is pushing on the top side, looking to continue the siege after they take the middle inhibitor, and that's what top esports will do.
Good idea from Kael there. They saw Creme on the top side, thought that they've got a timing to go for a 4 versus 5, but some good dodges, some good dashes out do keep top esports alive here. And now JiaQi.
Calling big damage too. Kael, Tarzan, half HP, Flandre, the Maiden will fall, and the siege is still on. Top esports really throwing their weight around of that 8,500 gold lead, suppressing, choking the life out of anyone's legend in their base.
They're going to go for the end here as well. They've got minions flooding in. Charm just barely dodges out of Shanks. Big one catches onto 3, but they've still got a Baron here.
There's this turret. Tarzan says, we gotta go, guys, but he immediately flashes out. They're just trying to buy as much time as possible. JiaQi is a little bit low, but he can just fire away from downtown. The first Nexus turret will fall as JiaQi is dashing in and out. Will we go for the second Nexus turret?
Oh my word, they're playing on the very edge.
Look to stand their ground, but Hope is down to about half HP. Kael is too. They found Shanks, he's gone golden, but the rest of the team's not there yet. Knocked away, and Tarzan's the one who goes golden. Cease and desist, and they cease AL's opportunity to play the game. Triple kill for JiaQi and Top Esports. 2-0 anyone's legend.
They were playing on the very edge, Yanni, and they knew exactly what they could do. They just dived them between their Nexus turrets, slowly whittling them down. The defender's advantage meant nothing, and Top Esports, absolutely aware of their capabilities, take down anyone's legend.
That was such an excellent siege by Top Esports. They knew from the moment that they were pushing on 2 lanes that, hey, we want to try to end of the game here. A lot of damage came through onto JiaQi, but then he was able to teleport back in. And anyone's legend never really stood a chance in this game, Rude Dude. I mean, TN just played out of his mind.
TN was absolutely ruthless throughout the entirety of this game. He was the reason they were making everything happen, to be completely honest with you. Had pretty much 100% kill participation throughout the majority of the game, was the leading proponent of any sort of advantages that came their way in the early stages of the match. And